we are right now preparing our transition papers, okay? And among those transition papers will be a roadmap to basically fiscal reconsolidation. But I will include in there that he has to keep an eye on 4 issues. The first issue he has to keep a close eye on is how to grow out of this debt. How to make sure that the debt that we accumulated is going to be a smaller and smaller part of our GDP. And how to achieve that is to grow at a rate of higher than 6%, as we have done. The second issue he will have to deal with is the issue of inflation. Inflation brought about by shortages around the world. How will he deal with that issue? Right now, we have a problem of energy shortages, which has even caused China to reverse their commitment to reduce the use of coal. Price of fuel has gone up. So that is the second issue that we have, that he will have to pay attention to, is shortages and the resulting inflation push. The third issue he has to look at is the issue of the exacerbated inequality brought about by COVID within our country and among countries. That will be a very big destabilizing factor, especially in the political arena. You know, fiscal consolidation and management of inflation will depend a lot on the political environment. Now, if the inequalities brought about by COVID persist, they will have a spillover effect on politics and the ability to manage those 2 other issues. And he has to look at the inequalities among countries. Some countries will grow faster than others. What will that mean for our markets? Will we have to change our marketing strategies? Will we have to change our product mix? Those are things you have to think about. And the fourth issue he has to pay attention to is climate change. Climate change is becoming a bigger and bigger factor in our daily lives. How they will start addressing climate change without stretching the fiscal space of the country is going to be very, very tricky. Like, for instance, there was a seminar this morning where some investors in energy, renewable energies, were calling for fiscal incentives. Okay? So, you are giving fiscal incentives for people to put energy efficient systems in place, reducing the imports of fossil fuels. Imports of fossil fuels generate a lot of excise taxes. So you're going to get a double whammy. Lower excise taxes and lower revenues because of fiscal incentives. So I ask myself, is fiscal incentives really the solution to this thing? You know, there was a big ecological crisis in London in the early 50s. The big London fog problem. You remember that? Oh, I don't know if you've read about that.
Yes.
And in Tokyo in the late 60s and early 70s. There was, I went to Tokyo. The first time I went there was around the late 60s, and I saw yellow clouds floating near the buildings in Tokyo. How did they solve those problems? Through fiscal incentives? I really don't know. I think it was through investment in research in science and technology and political will to clean up the environment. Fiscal incentives, I don't know if they played a big role. So I think those among the papers we will leave, among the things we will leave are advice to my successor to look at those, be aware that these 4 issues might become central to his administration.